Thanks so much, Sharon. That was really great. So we've got her book for sale in the back, and y'all couldn't see what she was reading, but it's got pieces of the artwork in it. It's really terrific. So at least check it out in the back, but we've got a handful of them left, so make sure you get one if you want. We got one more reader for you today. I hope you guys are having a lot of fun out there. We're going to end the day off with David Cavanagh, who often writes poems about borders, and not just the physical borders, but borderlands of the mind and heart. His most recent book of poems is called Straddle, and it's coming out from Salmon Poetry of Ireland, so that's not going to be something you can get your hands on very often. We've got a few of them for sale in the back. His work has been nominated for a Pushcart Prize, and he's been supported by grants from the Vermont Arts Council and the Canada Council for the Arts. So give it up for David. And hold on to your side.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Sharon. Thanks, Malvern Books. And Jeff for setting this up. Thank you all for coming. This is great. So I'm going to read mostly from the book just mentioned, Straddle, and I'll read a couple of newer poems as well, I think. Customs. Anything to declare? Asks the border guard. Oh my, where to begin? Last time I read that, somebody in the audience said, "That's it?" And I said, "Yeah, that's it."
Nothing left to declare.
Or too much. Well, on the border guard theme. Acquired. When the guard asks if I was born in Canada, by the way, was that mentioned? I don't know. Acquired. When the guard asks if I acquired anything in Canada, and I say no, and she says pop the trunk, and I say sure, and walk back there with her, I can scarcely believe. Shoe boxes. Loads of them. Rope tight. Slid open. A major spill of catechisms, sex mags, phone numbers, scratch-outs, conversations never had, stupid worries, bottles of avoidance, wads of afternoon, missed chances, hopeless yearnings, tears, bank tallies, too clever barbs, unread classics, imagined slights, a tangle of yellow caution lights, empty stubbies, broken bike parts, loads of why'd I say that, why didn't I, foul sneakers, balled up trepidations. Well now, says she, and gives me a look. Forgot they were there, I say, right shaken. Paid full duty on all of it. Is that so, says she. Is that so? All rise. Keep waiting. Never happened. All rise. Ladies and gents, a case is to be made. We call to your attention. Let the evidence show. We hereby call to the stand. We call Herr Otto. We call King Cole. We call Madame Velo. We call Dr. Frack. We call Old Sol. We all do solemnly swear to sell the truth. Herr Otto's on a roll today. He's burning rubber all over. King Cole is in the dumps. He smokes. His clouds hang low. Madame Velo spins her wheels. She says it's very simple. Dr. Frack assures and assures he knows the drill. Old Sol quietly collects himself. Members of the jury, you have your instructions. The facts are clear. They speak for themselves. Ignore the clamor in the lobby. Take a deep breath if you still can. Don't mind the heat. The choice is yours. We await your verdict. Finally, the sentence, as you know, will be handed down. This one's partly for Jeff and Susan and the wonderful bowl of painted eggs in their house. The Hunt. Except I wrote it years before I ever saw a bowl of painted eggs. I should probably say that. The Hunt. On the Easter before there was Easter, Jesus rolled back a rock and went home looking for something perfect, like an egg, to hold up to his dad, delighted. Then came thousands of Mondays with their here we go again. But oh, that pop-up Easter urge to heave back the stone, race free and find the hidden treat. Scour behind couches or the silent trees out back for something we're not even sure is there. To find is sweet, but the pulsing drive to seek, the giddy hope of, here, Dad, see what I found. Take it now, the lost egg of endless urge. Eat and rejoice. Let's do it again, in memory and in need. This poem called The Iceman, and it has a short epigraph. In 1991, he was found inside a glacier of the Alps. Seems he'd been out walking. An X-ray found an arrowhead in his back. He was 5,300 years old. The Iceman. If he had known his stroll by an alpine lake would be his last, how the arrow from behind would thud into his daydream, how the lake would claim him, harden, how anthropologists would pore over his Neolithic self the way his own kin hovered with stone knives over a kill, ready to skin, dismember, eat. If he were fast-tracked 5 millennia, would he say, what are you looking at? What do you want to know? Where fire comes from? Or, hey, where can I get some of those sneakers? Or, I'm no source, I'm an omen. The way one of us, blindsided, mangled by a muscle car running the light, might face the maker calmly, nothing more to prove, might say, I don't want in, just want you to know what I've been through in case you want to learn something. You gods, such know-it-alls. Most of all, would he have wanted a word with his mate, left that morning by a hearth? What tenderness, what worry might have furrowed that big brow? How you doing?
Great.
So I wrote this poem in 2011, and I had hoped by now it would be irrelevant. But sadly, the poem may or may not be any good, but the topic is certainly not irrelevant. In 2011, 19 people, including U.S. Representative Gabby Giffords, were shot by a single gunman in the parking lot of a supermarket in Arizona. 6 people died. The poem is called Ammo. $28.99 for 20 rounds at glockworld.com. At less than $1.50 per round, $9 buys you a dead 3rd grader in Tucson, a dead judge, a dead 79-year-old great-grandmother, a dead community outreach worker, 2 dead retirees. You can tell what they have in common. For $1.50, you can put a congresswoman into ICU with hole through left lobe and part of skull removed. Owns a Glock herself. I'm a pretty good shot, she once told the Times. Yesterday, I bought 3 undershirts at Penny's. Cost all of the above and then some. A school teacher's worth, a mechanic, maybe my next door neighbor. No getting around it. Costs a lot these days to live. And on a somewhat lighter note, a poem which has within it a different kind of shooting. It's called Anhinga. You familiar with those birds?
Yeah, we have them here.
Oh, very good. And
They're like the double-breasted cormorant, except for they're solitary.
thank you. You know more about them than I do.
They go like this to dry their wings.
That's right. And they have an extraordinary design on their wings, right? Beautiful black, white design. This poem's called Anhinga. When my brother came upon the creature nonchalant on a branch poking out of water, designer wings spread to dry in the sun. He holy-moly'd to his knees and shot 14 times as it kept on not moving, and he reloaded the camera. Yes, 35mm film, as old as the bird, for another try. Time came, it took flight with a slow, heavy beat of wings, and the man processed into image what he and the Anhinga made, transferred to digital media, then to screen for us to see. All those removes and gizmos, yet still the black span, streaked with white and wide as a merlin's cloak, draws down the ancient heat and shivers us new. Here's a newer one called Kilroy Was Here. I'm sure everybody's heard that expression, but has anybody heard it recently?
Not recently.
Not recently. Yeah. So there's another little epigraph about this poem too. So the poem's called Kilroy Was Here, and then in parentheses, one theory of the origin of this saying is that James Kilroy, an American shipyard inspector during World War II, would chalk it on sections of ships he had examined. Many of the vessels were troop ships headed abroad. Servicemen and servicewomen carried the saying around the world and back home after the war. Absent from the scene is Kilroy, a decent sort, diligent, meticulous, proud of his work to keep hundreds of tons of steel afloat to assure thousands could come home. An unseen man, not suited to a world of unseen foes, icebergs and torpedoes and sudden fire out of the sky. Kilroy wanted to get it right, wanted some small notice too, so left a tempered sign, a few words to carry his intentions. First, chart what he'd checked. Maybe buoy himself with a bit of mischief or mystery, imagine one who'd later come upon his Kilroy in a sealed compartment of an inner hull. Let the sailor know welds had been tested, rivets okayed by one such as him. Also, that he was gone. All his life he may have wanted too much and fallen short, or too little, even shorter, or was fairly satisfied. In any case, he's gone, no one knows where, but he was here. Everybody says so, if not so often anymore, and with no thought of the man who may have saved many. It slips out with a little laugh, as if not quite sure what it means. They say it and move on, as Kilroy did, but different. Ships sailed upon his mark, came back, some not, He chopped the words. Not he, but they sail on. Struggled with the ending of that, and I don't know if I've got it yet, but here it is. Well over 30 drafts of it. Stop counting around that. I'll read a couple more. You all right?
Yes.
We're just quiet. That's fine. Quiet is good. Bored is not good. Quiet is good. This one, this poem has the second longest title of any poem I've written. On seeing a 2-story clapboard house hoisted off its foundation and moved across a river on a flatbed truck. I won't read the longest one. It's a whole other thing. All right. A wooden shell forced off its rock, impossibly taking to the road, inching under wires, over water, never until now in view from its open, uncurtained windows. A displaced mammoth under the unmoved sun, a home leaving home, lumbering for a place to settle, a bit of open land that might accept it, and someone willing to move in. Someone, perhaps, who left home long ago, fled in disguise, from himself, most of all, an escapee unsure of what he needed to escape. For years then, building stone by uneven stone, a life he hoped would become foundation. He feels a bit of it under him now as a wind-blown cape crawls across a bridge. The turned-around truth of his own eyes, how wrong he may have got it, how home left him, turned away from his earnest child's embrace. And how strange now to stand on solid ground, eyeing the old clapboard turned orphan, carted away in traffic, a stolid, pate-chipped prisoner on parade. Love poem with elbow. Here's to raw love as if scrawled by an elbow. That was a cheap shot. Here's to raw love as if scrawled by an elbow, the workaday joint you turn to each morning, all the weight of your nighttime torso rolled onto that blunt and humble bone, once again willing to carry the load as you hoist from your tossed and tangled dream. Here's to the impossible, naming the unnameable, tending the unknown, plant with the unknowable roots, where they come from, where they go, twining round rock, other roots, nosing into foundations, marking and remarking the texture of the particular air you move through, sidewalk you saunter, water that puddles and eventually becomes you. Well, it's March, so we're a little bit far now from New Year's, but just a resolution. Resolution. Here's the new year bursting up through marsh ice, shedding birth mockery. And here's the new year panting like a puppy, shivering with wag. Here is our faith laid out for friends who file past, hands held like bowls. Here is the bed where love makes itself, and we linger exhausted with thanks. And here is the table where candles eat air, and the flames lick our prayers into dark forms. Here is the limp, and the sore hip, and the wry eye, and the muscle finding a stride. And one last one, and thank you all
Mhm.
for being here and for your wonderful attention.
Mhm.
Title poem of this book, Straddle. Every day, new borders to cross. Some fraught as steel barriers, stern signs, harsh lights, flash photos, dark booths, badges, monotones, the hope of pulling away free on the other side. And every day, the choice. Back off without checking in, or face the necessary questions. Where are you going? Where have you been? What are you bringing with you? What will you leave behind? Thanks for
Thank you all so much for being out here today. We really appreciate you coming by. I hope you really enjoyed the reading as much as we did. Like I said earlier, we've got books in the back for sale. Pick one up before they're gone. Get it signed. Double it in value or maybe more. We got lots of other poetry books here, so if you like recommendations, come find me or Mountain or Julie. We're happy to help you out. Y'all have a lovely weekend, okay? Thanks so much.
Thank you.